experienced the white denial and dismissiveness, and I have come to realize that initiating this topic in a white encounter activates cognitive dissonance, with reactions ranging from general malaise to outright anger and defensiveness. In some cases, just my presence alone creates these feelings. I know there is more to our potential than over-relying on these negative emotions to deal with one another and the truth. However, these discussions around our potential for interracial communication and relationship may be facilitated to foster a balance between sharing and listening for greater understanding. Without a well-facilitated conversation, this topic is usually met with understandable defense mechanisms and self-protection methods, especially when whites are confronted by emotionally expressive and broken-hearted African Americans. The basis for white denial could be that most whites believe that if bad things happen in the past, this has nothing to do with the present, and that whites in the present did not commit these acts done by whites of the past. However, our shared American history has largely benefited whites of all class levels for the past 400 years. This can be seen in the disparities in outcomes for generational wealth, home ownership, and other quality of life outcomes for blacks that differ significantly from whites. So how can this oppressive history and lived experience of discrimination be insignificant? We will take a moment here to review the transatlantic slave trade, the African Holocaust, also referred to as the Middle Passage, the Maafa, Kiswahili for Great Tragedy, beginning August 1619, when the English ship, the White Lion, picked up and transported the first African laborers from a Portuguese slave ship to be traded on the English colony of Virginia. Fast forward 241 years later, when the schooner Clotilda, the last slave ship to make the transatlantic voyage, arrived on the shores of Alabama, July of 1860. During this span of 241 years, an estimated 45 million Africans, human beings, men, women, and children, were taken from their homelands, stripped of their human rights, and forced into the British transatlantic slave trade. And during this great tragedy, it is estimated that 20 to 30 million Africans died. During capturing or deportation to the coast, in the coastal dungeons, or during the horrific voyage across the transatlantic ocean. Of those that survived the Middle Passage, 10 to 15 million of our African ancestors were enslaved by European Americans. During this period of chattel slavery, this most peculiar of institutions, with its unparalleled cruelty, separated black families, prohibited black men and women from marrying, and worse, 246 years of unspeakable human rights violations. This really happened. And needless to say, this has done irrevocable damage to the black family unit in a way that is still being understood in order to heal the generational trauma. And this unimaginable cruelty lasted for nearly 250 years.